Hello there. Apologies, I thought I had this set up, but I realised it wasn't in the right spot. So, I told you I'd be back, and this time I'm going to do some painting. Haven't done any for a long time, so I thought it was time to do some. So I find this incredibly relaxing. It helps me just get grounded again. But when I sort of lose inspiration and can't think of what to paint or stitch next, I find doing this repetitive painting just seems to help kick off my creative juices. So I did say I wasn't sure if I'd be back because I didn't think I had any watercolour paper left, but I actually do. I've got, now these are cheap ones that I bought online. They're okay. They're not great for, I can't find the tool. I've actually got a tool that lifts these off the it's not called a pad. Block? Is it a block? I can't remember. So I wasn't overly impressed with these. I haven't used this one yet, obviously. One is cold press and one is hot press from memory. So that's, yeah, I don't know, it's quite rough, but these are pure cotton though, so maybe I should give them another go, because you usually can't go wrong with cotton watercolour paper. These are inexpensive ones I bought. I'm kicking myself now that I didn't buy more of them. I bought A5, A4 and A3 in this brand. I only bought them because they had something like 90% off at the time, before they rebranded last year or the year before. And I mean, I think I paid $1.50 each for these, and now they're, I don't know, $20 each or something. So I wish I'd have bought more of these. I quite like these, especially when they were cheap. They were definitely worth it. For the amount they're charging for them now, I don't think I'd pay for them, because there's better quality watercolour paper out there. This is that Academy again, in a larger pad. But today I think I'll use, this is one of my favourites. It's not one I do my art on. Well, yeah, it's not too bad. I usually use Winsor Newton, something house in a big block, but I've run out of it. So look at this, my dad gave me this. It's out of a lamp that he redid. And I've just had it pressed in there because I don't know what else to do with it. It's years old, this leaf. So it's actually got, I can actually see a little mite or something coming out of there. So I was going to use that, but I forgot that leaf was in it. So I'm just going to set that aside, and we might use this one today. And I can't remember what this one's like. This is just a Ribs student quality 300 GSM. I nearly always buy 300 GSM. It's my weight of choice. I just like it. You know, it's good for doing the journals that I do. It's good for the cutouts I do. It's just, I just like it. So today I'm just going to paint some hearts because I find it relaxing. I use them, I paint them, let them dry, cut them out, fussy cut around them, stick them all in a jar, and I forgot to bring the jar out here. I was going to show you the jar full. Put them in envelopes, parcels, letters, little shaker cards, stick them in journals, do all sorts of things with them. I've just done up a parcel for a friend who lost her husband at Christmas, and all she asked me for was for some of my watercolour hearts. So I've just sent some off to her. I'm going to do some more in case she would like more, or maybe I should list some for sale as well. I did used to sell them, but I stopped painting them that often. So I'm going to be using a few different paints today. I've got my, you'll be disgusted when you see this. This is my Winsor & Newton pans. So my Winsor & Newton paints. I love these. These are one of my favourite paints. Not that I've used many different brands. I'd love to be able to afford some other brands. But so far I've got these. And I just noticed I've got one Daniel Smith paint in Opera Pink, one of my favourite colours, and it belongs in, I usually put that in this little pan. I usually let it dry out too before I use it, only because when it's wet like this it doesn't seem to go as far, so I like to let them dry out. I've got a bit on my finger already. So I use Daniel Smith, you know, Opera Pink. I would buy more Daniel Smith paints if I could afford them, but at the moment I can't. I've only got these Winsor & Newton ones because I bought them second hand for I think $1 a tube. Oh, there you go, 50 cents a bloody tube, so I couldn't let them go. There's only the two colours there. I always try to have some paper towel on hand. It's handy for cleaning up bits like I just got all over my finger, but it's good for blotting your brushes and whatnot as well. So I've got my Winsor & Newton half pans. I've got, now this isn't all my paints, these are just ones I've collected over the years. I've got, these were an inexpensive pack I bought a few years ago. They were quite inexpensive at the time, and I was so impressed with them I ordered another palette, and I probably should try and get more. They're harder to get now, but I love them. They're my favourite paints ever. Inexpensive, but beautiful colours and beautiful to use. They're a Superior, I think they're a Chinese brand. They come in this, they're some of my neons. The neons are, I haven't bought them out, they're an Amazon brand, and I liked those so much too I went and bought another pack of those. They're in a tube. As I said, I lay the tubes out and let them dry out. They go further. So these are the Superior watercolours. As I said, love these colours, they're my favourites. Use them a lot. So I use those, and then I've got, this is another Amazon tin, and again I was so impressed with these I ordered a second tin, and when I've got some money I will probably order another one because I love these as well. Artistro watercolour set. Now they come with a water brush, a paintbrush, a marker, your sponge. This poor set is worn out. They're just little trays. You get it also comes with a watercolour pad, a little pad. You get the cover with it that tells you what the colours are. And I'm not overly fussed on these colours. They're very thick and tacky paints. They're difficult to work with. They are all metallic. But these ones here, these chameleon paints, for me, this pack is worth it just for these chameleon paints. I love them. They're amazing. They're colour shifting. I've also got my Calero, which I now believe is called Fine Tech. I need another set of these. You can see they're well loved. I love these paints. I would definitely like to get another set of these. They're all metallic, and they're so far some of the best quality metallics I've ever used. DD the Prace metallics, they're okay. They're nowhere near as good as the Calero, but they're a lot cheaper as well. But they work. Depends what you want to use. If I'm just doing the hearts, for example, where it's not something I'm going to be making a piece of artwork as such, sometimes I'll use these. But my daughter also put me onto, and I'm kicking myself now for not buying more than one set. This isn't them actually, these are Gansai Tambi, a Japanese set, and they're really good too. I don't think they're as good as the Calero, but they're very nice paints. But Kmart a couple of years ago brought out a set that looked almost the same as this, and I think I got it for $1 or 50 cents for the set, and this is them. And I only bought one because I thought they'd be crap. They're actually really good. I'm impressed with them. They're not a bad. I feel like I've got one missing. I feel like there should be 6, not 5. And I feel like there's one that's more gold. Doesn't seem to be there. Maybe I've used it all. So I've got those. I also use some ink to paint with, usually Ferris wheel press with the metallics in them. I don't have a big collection. I was an ambassador for Ferris wheel press, so they used to send me ink. Unfortunately that program ended and I was devastated, but so I like to use these to paint with. Oh, my finger's stuck in there. And they have a shimmer, so I prefer the ones with shimmer in them. They give a better effect when you're painting. So that's something else I paint with. Also use Liquitex ink to paint with. I've got a couple of different inks in there, but Liquitex is my favourite at the moment. I've also got these I bought from a lady who I think is based in Sydney. They're handmade metallics. I got these off eBay. They're bloody beautiful. These cute little, what does it say? Handmade with love. I can't find the name. It says imported by Artist Paper Club. I'm not sure if that's the brand name or not. I don't remember now, I'm sorry. But these are beautiful handmade metallics. She had 3 sets. I only bought 2 because I didn't think I'd use the colours in the 3rd set. Maybe I should buy it anyway. So I got that tin, and then I got one of these is very well used, I believe, from memory. Oh no, maybe not. Yeah, that moonshiny one. So I got that one as well. And then this tin has got my very, very special handmade. Hello, how are you? I'm painting today, Karen, this afternoon. These ones are my beautiful handmade paints from Art to Basic, from Meta, and oh goodness, I can't remember, I'm sorry. This is one of my, I can't remember which set this is from. It's the gold one. I use it a lot. I love this colour. I can't remember where it's from. I should have written on it. I think it may have been sent with these as a gift from memory, maybe. But these are my Art to Basics. There's 4 new colours. I think that there's 4 new colours there that I haven't used yet. I think the purple, that neon, the yellow and the green. Haven't used those yet. I haven't had a chance. So these Art to Basic handmade paints are incredible. Absolutely incredible to use. They feel like you're painting with velvet. That sounds silly, but they're absolutely unreal. So I won't be using those today in my painted hearts, because they're for special little projects. I'll keep these handy in case I decide to use those. I don't want to use too many today or I end up a bit overwhelmed. So we're just going to paint some hearts. I've got these. I go through brushes. I haven't bought I haven't got them all out actually, but this has taken me many years to collect these. I started collecting when I was still in school, and unfortunately my dad used to buy me beautiful artist quality watercolors and brushes. Some of the brushes he bought me were a couple of $100 a brush, and when my first husband and I split up, he threw everything on a bonfire. So I lost everything, and it hurt that much that I didn't paint again for years, and I refused to collect paints and brushes again because I didn't want them. I know, I just had this fear, I guess. But then when I joined, I think the Ugly Art Club, when it started on Instagram with Tiffany Goff-Smith and Dee Dee Catron and Kristen Peterson, when they started that up, I started buying paints again. And yeah, it's taken me a long time to collect them. I still haven't bought any good brushes. I'm terrified to buy good brushes. And one of the reasons is because I have silverfish at home, and no matter how much I try and preserve my brushes, they get into them and eat them. So I don't have good brushes at the moment. But in saying that, these are from Temu, and I'm actually really impressed with them. They're really nice little brushes to use. I actually bought these because I used to take my paints with me when I went camping, and it was really handy to have these to take camping. Really nice little brushes. I should buy more of these. They're certainly not expensive brushes, that's for sure, but they're really nice brushes to use. I'm really impressed with them, and maybe because they've got the cover, I've been able to preserve them better. But one thing I've noticed, if you can see, and that's a bit crushed, the paint, it starts to blister a bit if it gets too wet or if it sweats, but the paint's still functional, the brush is still functional. I don't know how I've dented that, but this brand is Fumui, Fwmwi, Japanese brand, or Chinese, I think it's Japanese. This is a different brand again, but I'm pretty sure this one is from Temu as well. Oh, this one's in a bit of a rough shape. I don't know how the heck I have dented them. Goodness me. That's the only problem with these. Putting them back in here without bending the bristles back can be difficult. So, brushes, paper. I use this is a, what would you call it? A vintage milk glass egg serving tray. This is one of my favourite. I used to own one. I was given one years ago and I gave it away because I never used it as an egg tray. I used to make deviled eggs and take to parties years ago. That was one of the only things I was able to make. And then I didn't do it for a long time, so I gave it away, and then I found this one at the second-hand store for about 50 cents, so I brought it home, and it's one of my favourite things to use as a watercolour tray, blending tray. I also like to have, as I said, I've got paper towel here for the brushes, just to dampen it off a bit if necessary. I've got I like to have at least 3 jars of water. One to wash all the colour off, one to pick up water when I need it, and one extra one because your cleaning one gets pretty dirty pretty quick. And that's one of the reasons I like the paper towel, to get the excess off. I've also got a little spray bottle with water that's just got water in it. And I've also brought out, this is just a empty dishwashing liquid bottle with extra water in it. I think I've covered everything now. So, which paints will we use today? They're a bit crappy. Caleros are a bit... I do like these ones, so let's... I might not need that if I'm going to use this. So as I said, I'm just going to... Oh, I couldn't work out how my paper it's got tiny little bits of black on it. It's come off this where I wiped the top of this paint tin. Don't know how that got so grotty. I just sprayed it with a bit of water to get some more of that grot off so it doesn't wipe onto the paper. Because you know, I will get it on my work surface if I don't clean up. Okay, now let's use the small brush to start with, hey? Another thing I like about these, that might be a bit too small, these brushes is that they pick up quite a bit of water when you want them to. Some of the cheaper ones won't do that. So I'm just wetting my brush. Now the reason I brought the spray bottle out is to wake up my paints. Let that soak in a bit. Now, one thing I like to do is paint what I call opal, and it's been a while since I've done this, so I might forget which colours I use. So I'm just trying to paint a heart shape with water. I can't see the outline, so it might be a bit messy. I'm just sort of guessing. Lay down a bit of water on the paper. And then I'll come in and drop a bit of colour in. I'll start with the lighter colour, so maybe a bit of green. And I just sort of put Just drop little bits of colour here and there. I don't want too much in there. And the way this weather is, this might dry out before I actually get the effect I'm after. Then I want a bit of blue. And again, I can't remember which colours I used when I did this before, so it might not work out. Bit of blue, then we want a bit of let's go a bit of pinky purpley. Sometimes I can get this working really well, and it does look like, to me, I reckon it looks like opal. If I put a bit of red in there, I think I might push it too far. You see it's gone a bit murky now. What about a bit more of that blue, I think? And I'm just dropping colour in. What other colours did I used to put in there? I can't remember. This is a bit frustrating. I think we need a bit more. Now, that's not doing what I want it to do. I'll keep playing with them and just layering them up. And eventually I'll get the right colour combination. Now I'm dropping in a bit of metallic. Just gold on this one. Now, maybe I need a bit of, no, that's black, I don't want black. I'm looking for navy. Where is it gone? It's the same bloody colour. It's drying out before I can finish it at the moment. I pushed that too far then. I shouldn't have put the navy, I don't think. Now I want more gold on this one. It's not, the gold's not dropping in like I want it to. So that's with the Caleros. They're not doing what I want them to do. So I'm going to change, because I know these ones usually do what I want them to do. I'm going to change to the Artistro. Again, I'm going to charge them with some water. And just drop some. You can see that is actually dropping into that paint now. So that is my attempt at, the colours aren't right, but if I keep doing them like that, they tend to make opal colours. Now I'm going to paint straight onto the paper with that chameleon colour changing paint that I just loaded the brush with to drop in. And then I will come in and drop some colour in. This blue is the Winsor & Newton in cobalt blue. Now let's drop in some, these are neon colours, these ones I'm dropping in now. It's drying out too quick, the paint. Now that one up there, that first one I've done, it will change colour as it dries. And just drop in different colours in, get some different shades happening, a bit of movement. There's no rhyme or reason, just picking something up and dropping it in. Then I might add a bit more of the chameleon colour. If I drop this Artistro chameleon colour, if I drop it in, it tends to push the paint out and make really cool patterns. So because I've still got some of that in my brush and I don't want to waste it, I'll just add a bit of water and paint another one. And I try to put the hearts, sort of stack them quite closely. And then sometimes I'll come back, I'll just do rows and rows and rows, and then I can come back and paint in between them. So I'm not wasting paper. I'm just dropping water in now to keep this one wet. Let's put some colour in. It's drying so quickly. out the lines there a bit. Sometimes I leave white spaces so it looks like a reflection. Sometimes I'll have a glass of wine or two and I'm not as particular with what I'm painting, and sometimes they're the best hearts I've done. Let's drop some more metallic in. These chameleon colours I just love. And again, I've got chameleon colour on that brush now, so instead of wasting it, let's paint another heart. I need some more water because that's drying already. I try and do all different shapes, all different sizes. Sometimes I get into a rhythm doing the same. I've got this thing, you've probably noticed, I've got favourite colours, and sometimes I find it difficult to move outside the box. What I found though, most of the hearts I do in warm colours, so oranges, reds, yellows, browns, that sort of thing. I don't tend to use them and people aren't drawn to them either, so I tend to stick with these cooler colours. And of course you don't have to drop different colours in. Let's do one and you don't have to do an outline like I am. You can just do a solid heart. And I'll come back and drop some more metallic in. What colour will we go for this time? Let's go to purple. The Violet Tiara it's called, this one. It's a big drop, that bit. And again, I've got quite a bit of Violet Tiara in the brush, so let's paint another one. Just getting some more water because that's drying out already. And what colour will we use this time? Let's try and do another, I don't think this will work for some reason, another opal. I think I've gone too dark with this one. See, I don't know if you can see how this one's drying. It's starting to look more like an opal. It's hard to do it so you don't end up with mud as well. I think I've put too much green in this one. And I'll drop some metallic in. Let's go. I don't know if this will work, but I'm going to try. I just need to charge those again because they're drying out. I'm going to try leprechaun gold in the chameleon in this opal. Now you can't really see that, but I know that's dropped in and it should dry visible. I'm just picking up some more water. With any luck that one will dry to a bit more opal-esque. Oh, this is the chameleon gold. Look, the leprechaun gold. Look at the colour of it. It's quite dark on its own. Let's do some more water. It actually has a green shimmer, this one. Don't like the shape of this heart. That's a bit better. Now, what colour can we drop into that? I don't think this will work. I don't like this colour in this, but let's see. It's like leaf green or something, this one. These are the colours I usually steer clear from. Yeah, I've just made mud now. I'm not happy with that one. I don't know how I can rescue it. I've got leafy green and orange. I think if I bring in red, it will kill it. Well, not happy with that one at all, but I'm going to leave it, or I'm going to completely murder it, I think. Sometimes I've just got to move over, guys. Time for coffee. I'll try and move this around so you can see. Mum's gone to sleep. So you can see, I don't know if it's actually showing the colours for you through the monitor, but you see that first one I've done? Can you see how it's starting to look like the colours of an opal? Still got a bit of drying to do, but it's getting there. This one should start, that second last one should start to do the same thing. Sometimes they don't work out at all. You just got to drop the colour in and sort of hope for the best. But what I found, I always add a bit of that to get the opal effect. I always add some of this greeny green, that limey green. I'm not going to pull them out to read the colour, sorry. I always add some of this, is it turquoisey colour? I always add navy. I always add this pinky, fuchsia pinky colour. And as long as I add those colours, sometimes I'll add this bluey, tealy, oh, I can't even think of the name of bloody colours at the moment, and a bit of purple. As long as you add a combination of those colours, you'll often get an opal-y, like a black opal colour. So once again, let's start with just painting a water heart. Can you see that? I haven't been doing these because they're drying so quickly and it's difficult to see the bloody outline too. Then let's drop some colour in. So let's start with okay. I've got on my lap, I've got a piece of paper towel and I'm brushing the excess off the brush before I dip in for more water. Let's go a bit of this neon purple. And the paper towel just blew off my lap. Let's go a bit of, this is like a cobalt blue sort of colour. Now I like the colours to bleed into each other. I like to try and push them around a bit. I don't necessarily want them to blend, but I want them to sort of merge a bit and, what's the word I'm looking for? Sort of, not necessarily create new colours, but sometimes I can manipulate them to just create these beautiful, not necessarily swirls. I don't even know how to explain it. They don't blend to make new colours. I mean, I can do that if I want, but I don't want to. I just want them to sort of intermingle, I guess, work alongside each other. And create these beautiful patterns and I'm trying to do another opal, but I've started with the wrong colours, so I'm not sure if it will work. I think I need a bit more pink. And then some purple. I need a bit of purple. And if I can layer these well, you'll see the different colours when it dries, but even though I've been doing these for years, I still get it wrong. And then we come in with some navy again. I've gone outside the outline there. I think I might leave that. I'm going to push it too far. And then we want some metallic. So I'm going to go for, this time, I'm going to use Magic Wand. That's what we like. See how that pushes it? I don't know if you can, if that's actually showing in the on the monitor, but that chameleon colour is pushing the paint around. I don't know how this one will dry. It's all sort of mushed into one colour now. This is this table is quite high compared to my seat, so I'm not in a great position to see what I'm doing. So these hearts are a bit of an odd shape. The other thing I like to do, I've laid down the leftover Magic Wand chameleon paint as a base, only because I didn't want to wipe it onto the paper towel, no other reason really. Then I've picked up some pinky purple neon, which isn't blending very well there. And then I might just want to drop one more colour in. We don't have to go overboard with colour. We can just leave it at that. There's metallic in it already, or we can drop in some, I'll try this gold, the one that I said I'm not fussed on because it's quite thick. There's a bit of green on that, but Let's drop a bit of that in. Now, I can't stand the colour of that one there at all. Now, they're all wonky, but that's okay. We don't want perfect hearts. Now, what you got to remember too is leaving space between them to cut around them. So I fussy cut them all. And again, I should have brought the jar out to show you. I can pop in and grab it if you want me to. So I fussy cut around all these, but as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to paint another one. This has just got some of that gold on it left over. Don't want to waste it. Funny shaped heart. And then I might just do something like pick up a darker red. And just do that. The other thing you can do is load your brush with water and then just drop water on it, which will push the paint around as well and create sort of spots when it dries or different textures. But what I wanted to show you, I need to paint a few more yet. Got a bit of a wobble happening. Sometimes I'll just leave it like that. See how that white bit's still exposed? I like doing that sometimes. Again, I keep going for the same colours. Try and do long, thin hearts. That's not that long and thin. I'll do, that one's a bit close to the one above it, which is not what you want to do. Here we can go really long and thin, which still isn't a great example, but you get the idea. I do like to try and have some metallic on all of them if possible. I've missed those ones though. They've dried already. But what I wanted to show you, once you've done your rows, I then come back. You can turn your pad up the other way and paint some in between. Again, I've done them a bit close, but remembering to leave enough space to cut around them. So I try to utilise as much of the paper as I can. And I'll paint in between all of those. I'll paint up on the edges here. I even do little teeny ones and cut those out. So yeah, try and utilise as much of the paper as I can. And then cut them all out. I might change tins. Oh goodness. Go over to some Winsor and Newton. Everything's drying out so quickly today. I'm just charging these paints with some water again. Can also do, it's a bit hard to do it here, funny little fat ones which are a bit harder to do from here. It's not a good shape, is it? Where did I put the metallics? Sometimes I do really round, chubby ones. Just play around. Oh, it's so, everything's just drying. It's so hot and dry here at the moment. It's hard to keep the water on it. Bugger. Can't keep between the lines, can I? What other colour can I drop in there? Oops, that was much more than I wanted. So that one's changed now. Metallics. What I want is some gold again, but that one wasn't working. The Calero wasn't running like I want it to. My poor Ganzo Tambis are just about empty. That's better. Don't want to waste that metallic, so I'll lay it down. And then come and drop some colour in it. This one is Opera Pink by Daniel Smith. Keep going out of the lines. Now I like it when it dries and you get that harsh outline. A lot of people don't like that. I like it. A lot of people will try to avoid that from happening. Oops, that's way too much. This is what I don't like. This is why I don't like tubes. I end up with too much paint on the brush and I end up wasting it. So that's why I like to lay some out of my tube in a pan and let it dry. There's still a lot of paint on that brush. And let's drop some, just all, that water's bright pink now. Drop some metallic in. Oh, lots of gold. That's much more than I wanted. But that's okay. Just dropping a bit of water in to soften that metallic gold I dropped in. So that's dried already. That one I'm working on now. Putting more water in. Let's drop something in. Let's go. do a bit darker blue. And then I might try a bit of navy blue. Oh, that one or that one? Let's try that one. No, not dark enough. Now, if you can remember that, the opal one I did where I laid down the sort of, is it teal, that light bluey greeny, and then layered it up, it's gone very dark, that one. These other two are a bit more opalesque. Bit of metallic, let's go silver on that one, hey? So if you've probably already guessed, I could sit here for hours, and I do sometimes, and just paint hearts. I try different colours, different techniques, just play around. It's a good way to get to know your paints and practice different techniques. Try out different colour combinations. Practice keeping a steady hand, which I'm not really succeeding in today. And there's something else I want to show you too while we're at it. Just going to drop a bit of metallic in that one. Okay, so something else I'd like to show you is how I paint with the inks, at least the hearts. So this is a Ferris wheel press ink, and it's called the Song of Scarlet. Song of Scarlet, and it is I can't remember the range that it's from, but it has a red base, a blue shimmer. Okay, so I'm going to start with this colour. I need to Give it a good shake. This is difficult, this stuff. Give it a good shake because all that metallic, the blue shimmer tends to sit on the bottom. And as soon as I stop shaking, it settles again. So what I'm going to do is lay down some water, and I can't bloody see it. Lay down some water in a heart shape, and then I've got to put the brush quite a fair way into the bottle to the bottom to make sure I pick up the metallic, and then I'm just dropping it into that water. It's bloody dried already. And I've gone out of the line, so I'm just going to try and pull that around to make a bit more of a point. So that's the Song of Scarlet colour, which now my water has gone nearly the same colour as the ink bottle. That should dry if I've picked it up with a nice metallic sheen to it. Let's try. One of these colours works really well, and I can't remember which one it is. Might be this one. This is Blue Beryl Tonic from the Fairy Tales collection. That's right, I remember now. These are all fairy tales. And this one is a periwinkle base with a rose gold shimmer. I'll try and, I just flicked red ink everywhere. Try and lay down some water before it dries. Now I can see this because I've still got some of that red ink in there, so it makes it a little bit easier. You can probably just see it through the screen. Give this one a good shake, the periwinkle. And then again, I've got to try and get right down the bottom of the bottle and load it, and then I'm just going to drop it into the water. Concentrate on the edges. Try and pick up some more, drop that in. Now you probably noticed it looks quite watery compared to the watercolours, but if you notice the red one up there, how well it's drying already. Let's try another one. I need more water. So I've still got that blue, that last ink on my brush, and I can see the rose gold in that as I'm laying it down. I don't use this often this way because it does use a lot of ink. That was a great big drop in there. And because these already have those metallic shimmers in them, I don't have to add metallics to them. This red one always looks stunning when it dries. I just wiped a whole heap of that on my paper towel then. Let's do another red one. I'm just laying down the water, and I'm using dirty water because I can see where I've laid the water down. It's just got a little bit of that ink in it. Again, give it a good shake, really good shake, and I've just splashed that all over my paper. You want to pick up that metallic down the bottom and then drop it in. And just darkening the outline a bit because I like the look with the dark outline. Try and straighten this edge up a bit, and I've made it worse. Now, I still had ink in my brush, but I just added some water. I won't get as much of the metallic effect on these because I haven't added more ink. But we still get nice colouring. Going a bit cross-eyed trying to look through the phone stand. So I'm not adding more ink because I want to use what I've got. I don't want to load it again. But I thought I'd just use what's on the brush and see what happens. Again, I'm not going to get the movement in the colour or the metallic like I did in the first two that I dropped the ink into. But in theory, if I drop more water in, I might get a bit of movement. Oops, that's a bit close, isn't it? It's very close to that one, you silly goose. Bit wonky, but that'll work. And gee, this ink goes a long way, doesn't it? I still haven't reloaded it. I could possibly drop some gold into these lighter coloured ones. Just keeps growing. Okay, I'm going to rinse that out now. Where's the... put it away. Let's drop a bit of gold in, hey? Which one did I just do? I can't see it. It's dried. Oh, that's a lot of gold. Okay, and I've got one more ink colour that we haven't used yet in the fairy tales. And this is called the Ribbiting Pond. And it is light blue with a green pink shimmer. So let's see how this one goes. Lay down some water. Probably a bit too much red ink in this water still. I did wash the brush. Obviously not well enough. Give it another rinse in some clean water. Okay, shake up the ink, pick some up from the bottom and drop it in. That red ink might even work to our advantage with this one. I tell you what, sometimes I just cannot get the heart shapes neat and heart-shaped like. Other times I don't tend to have much trouble at all. Oops, my wrist slipped then. Whoa, that was a lot. I've still got a lot of ink on this brush. can see some up there, so there we go. Lay it down. Now, I might leave the ink for now, because as I said, it goes through, it uses a lot of ink doing that. You can see, I don't know if you can see on the tip of the brush, the metallic from the ink. It won't transfer. There we go, patting it seems to be transferring some of it. Instead of wiping. Don't know what the time is, but it's just gotten a bit dark all of a sudden. Or maybe that's the rain they've forecast. Okay, let's have a look. Oh, it's 4:45. So, oh, my leg's gone to sleep. The ribboning pond. Just check, it's got, can you see all that? Look at that metallic in the bottom there. Putting them back in the boxes, I didn't know which colour was which. It's got TRP, the ribboting pond, so that goes back in the... I'd love to get more of these inks. They're just stunning and they're beautiful to write with. I do, when I write letters to people, I usually use pen and ink still. That's the, can you see the metallic in that? That's the blue beryl tonic. There's not a lot of that, well, it's nearly half empty. That's one of my favourites. Yes, I would love to get more of these inks. They're just gorgeous. And then this is the Song of Scarlet. Ready to have a look? Look at that. Absolutely gorgeous. Look at that flash. Beautiful inks. So yeah, I'm absolutely bummed that they no longer do the program where they had ambassadors. They told me they were going to start another ambassadorship program, and I could expect to be contacted by them because they liked what I did. Haven't heard from them. It's a bit of a bit disheartening. So let's get some more done, shall we? You guys are probably sick of watching, but I just like to sit here and paint away. Obviously you don't have to keep watching. I love having you join me though. Like, you don't have to go away, that's for sure. I was hoping to fill the page up and then show you how I cut them out, but I've already been here an hour and a half and I haven't even finished half the page yet. So I don't think that will be happening tonight. I could duck inside, if you don't mind me gone for 60 seconds or so. I could pop in and grab the jar that I have left of the ones I've already done. How about I do that, hey? I'll pop in and grab that if you can bear looking at this page for a bit. Hopefully I don't knock the stand over because the cable is in front of the door. If I can negotiate how to get around that. If I unplug it, the phone will fall over. Let me see if I can do this. Okay, I'll be back in a minute. Oops, sorry. Of course. Hang on. Okay, I'm back. I've just got to put the cable back. Okay. So, I've just posted a whole heap of these, so it's not as full as it normally is, but this is my jar of hearts, and I've got all sorts in here, all different sizes, all different shapes, all different colours. I just dropped one. Little ones. I've got tiny, tiny little... I might have given all them away. I've got some that are so tiny. I can't see any of them. These ones, these are good ones too. I put down strips of washi tape and paint over them so you've got a strip, and then you can, I'll have to demo that. I don't have any washi tape handy, but I'll demo that next time. Then you can do something like, I'm just looking for, of course it's underneath everything, if it's even here. Of course it's not. I think I've taken it inside. So if you do these, you can then come and write a word in there like gratitude, or, you know, peace, or love, joy, happiness. You can do that with them. Here's a small one. This isn't by far one of my smallest ones. I've got even smaller ones than that. So these tiny ones are the ones I paint on the edges and in between all the little gaps to fill in the holes. So yeah, as you can see, all different. There's a, don't know if you can see, there's a chameleon colour shift one. I don't know. trying to see if there's a dried opal colour. I can't see. I don't think I put them all in the parcel. Look, there's a larger one with a strip. There's a neon pink. I don't know if that's picking up on the monitor. It doesn't look anywhere near as bright as what it is in real life. See, a lot of these colours I don't like. So they're still sitting around, the oranges and the greens and the... This is a nice one. This has got some colour shift metallic on it. It looks purple if you look at it straight on, and then it's got a flash. There's another one. These ones are good too. I do master sheets and then cut them up. I can't see. I was hoping there'd be an opal colour. I can't see any. There's lots of flashes happening. This is a neon pink with a flash. That's a bit of a bummer. I'm not going to empty the whole jar out because there's hundreds. I just packaged up, I think I counted 5. That's 700, 800 to send away. And I've still got, that's one from a master sheet. I've still got this jar full. There's another one. So master sheet, if you don't know, I just completely paint the whole sheet with colour. Layers and layers and layers of colour, different shapes and things. And then I cut out hearts. There's an opal one. That one didn't work as well. It's a bit dark. But that was an opal. Yeah, look at them all. I don't like these. These are the neons in a tube. I don't like how, see how they look like acrylic paints. They're not. They're watercolors. They don't work nicely. That's another master sheet. So yeah, there's my, that's what I do with them. They all go into this. I need to get a bigger jar by the looks. And again, like I said, I've just removed about 800 from this jar. That one. When I first started doing them, I just did plain colours like that. Just plain colours. And then I worked out I could do 2 colours on each heart, blending 2 colours. And then I got a bit daring and dropped in more colours. And then I worked out I could add metallics. And then I worked out I could add, I could use the ink. So the ones I've done that are just single colours now, I don't like. I don't like them at all anymore. They're very ordinary and boring. Like I like that one. It's only one colour, but it still looks good. Okay, the other thing I do is make my own tags, and I'm just trying to find some. So I cut out the shapes, stitch around them, and then write. I've painted my name on, so they're all a bit different. I just paint that on with paint and a paintbrush, and then some of them I'll paint on a little vase, different shapes, different sizes with the vases. different shapes and sizes. Mainly, I think all my vases are blue. I don't know why, it just worked out that way. They've all got a bit of metallic flash on the vase. Or the pot plant. Oh, that one hasn't. That's just white. Blue and white. Or maybe I haven't got to these ones yet. These are just vases. So lots of different vases, and then from there I paint flowers in the vases. So there, when I make something and sell it, I add one of these tags. I need to make some more, I'm running low. It's just watercolour paper, watercolour paints, and a bit of string at the top. But I wasn't that fussed on that style of flower. I did blue and pink and purple, I think. Another vase. There's another one of those flowers. Another vase of flowers. And another one. So a lot of them I've used already, but I also do, and a lot of these, most of these are gone, I also do rainbows. Rainbow. This colourway always went down well, just the black and gold. And as you can see, I also do a machine stitched border. It just seems to finish them off. So that's what else I paint at the moment. I haven't done any large paintings for quite a while. I get myself a bit overwhelmed with them, so I just play with these mainly at the moment. Because most of what I'm doing is stitching. I'm stitching, embroidering. That's been my focus lately. Because A, it's more relaxing and enjoyable for me. It's something I can easily achieve, and it's something that other people are enjoying, so that's what I'm doing. And I'm just picking up all these little hearts to put them back. There's another little one. I've still do some that are smaller than that again. They get difficult to cut out, as you can imagine. So, and then if I can't think of what colours to do, I can go back through this jar and see which ones I like and get some ideas from that. So, oh, now that I can't get the lid back on. There we go. This is Making Memories jar, plastic jar. It had, I think it had different rivet things in it for scrapbooking. I do have a silica gel sachet in there so they don't get moist or mouldy. There's an opal one I can see tucked down there. But I don't know if you can see how they've all dried quite differently to what they went down as. There's that first opal sort of coloured one I did. And then the second one down here. And then this third one got very dark, that one there. But this is the ink. This is one of the inks, this is one of the inks. Ink, ink. These are all ink. Look at the difference in the colours and the effects. So yeah, there you have it. Like I said, if I sat here and filled this whole book, we'll be here for hours. I was going to cut one out and show you, but I can't lift that up. I'm sure you know how to cut out shapes. So, next time you get stuck and can't think of what to do, but want to do something creative, dig out your watercolour paints and just do repetitive shapes. That's what I do. Sometimes I should have brought the other stuff out. Sometimes I do little trees. Sometimes I do flowers. Sometimes I do, what else do I do? Rainbows. What else? I've got a box full of different watercolour shapes that I paint and then cut them out and store them away until I want to use them for something. I write to my daughter and her fiance, not as often as I would like to. I was trying to write to them once a week. I haven't done it for a while, and every time I write to them I usually add some watercolour cutouts. I'm surprised how many of you are sticking by watching me do this. I would have thought it would be incredibly boring. But quite a few of you have stuck here and seem to be watching or listening. Which is nice. Thank you. I don't always paint upside down like I am now. I'm a bit pressed for space here, so it's easier at the moment to just paint upside down than it is to turn it around. And I think I mentioned earlier, normally I go and paint them all upright first and then turn it around and paint the ones upside down and then go back and fill in all the gaps. I'm dropping everything if you haven't guessed. I just wish I could move past using the same colours. Obviously I've got my favourites. And once again, I apologise if you're commenting. I can't see it while I'm painting. I'm too busy concentrating on this, so I'm not ignoring you. I just can't see what you're saying. The bloody flies have moved in. There was none here earlier. Don't know what they're after this time. Unless they want to bite me, which seems to be what they're doing. They mainly sound like blowflies, and they usually only move in if there's food lying around. And I'm pretty sure I've put all the garbage out. Unless I've missed something. I don't know what the heck they're after, the dirty buggers. They drive me nuts. So when I think I've got the right shape, I go and bugger up the edge. Ouch, bloody flies are biting. Oh, go away, you feral thing. I don't tend to do hearts too big simply because I like to be able to slip a few in an envelope in a letter or a card if I send a card to someone, or putting them in journals. So you don't want them too big to do those things. Oh, you bloody flies. Oh, they're biting now. They weren't biting before. I don't like them. Gee, I've got a thing for blue today, don't I? I keep going for blue. That was not a conscious choice. Um, just dropped a bit of green metallic in that one. I don't think I've used it yet today. That one dried very quickly before I got to drop that next colour in. You could always also come back and go over these darker colours with little metallic dots or crosses or little check marks, or once it's dried. There's all sorts of things you can do. But we've been sitting here for over 2 hours now. So I'm starting to think it must be time for me to shove off. Oh, it's drying so quickly. Now I'm just trying to layer up some colour without washing out the heart. So I'm just doing little dabby bits. Now I'm going to come in with some metallic and just drop some in here and there. Sort of give, hopefully, will give a bit of a mottled effect once it's dried. And I don't usually go all over with the metallic. I usually sort of just go down one side and then a bit on the other side. And when I spoke earlier about different sizes and different shapes, you can adjust them to fit in the spaces that you have. So you once again utilize as much of the paper as you can. That's just me. I don't like to waste any. If I can use as much as I possibly can, I feel better about it. But if you don't mind leaving white spaces, that's you do you. And I don't think I've mentioned, there's no rules when you're doing this. When I was learning to paint many years ago, I was always told you have to do it this way, you have to do that, you have to do, you don't. You don't have to do anything. If you enjoy doing what you're doing, just bloody do it. If you want to get particular styles, a particular look. Of course there are techniques to use to get that look, but apart from that, there's not, you know, you don't have to do anything. I should have kept some of those out to remind myself what I've done in the past, because I'm running out of ideas again for colours. I honestly am surprised how many of you are just sitting here watching. I thought you would have been bored silly by now. Oh, the whipbirds are coming out. I can hear them. I can hear one of them. I think it was the male. Yeah, there he goes. There's the male. And I think the female responded that time. I'll have to pay attention next time. It's the first time I've heard them call today. Ooh. It's a nice colour. That's actually a neon, that one. That's from my neon palette. I've been watching, I like Australian productions. There's not many I've seen that I haven't enjoyed. And I came across a new one, well, it was new to me the other day. It's not that new, but new to me. It was a mini-series with, had Brian Brown in it actually, called Bloom. Was it, yeah, I'm sure it had Brian Brown. And what's his name? Oh goodness, what's his name? The fellow out of Packed to the Rafters. He's in lots of things. Can't think of his name now. But it's called Bloom. It's a bit different, bit of an unusual show, but gee, I enjoyed it. I've been watching other ones I've liked. The Boy Who Swallowed the Universe, that's a good one. Upright with Tim Minchin. Aftertaste with Rachel, Oh God, I can't remember the bloody name now. It's got the Kiwi fellow in it. That's a good one. The Hunt for the Wilder People, that's another good one. I think it might be a Kiwi one, that one though. Hunt for the Wilder People. Or We Are the Wilder People. I think it's Hunt for the Wilder People. What else have I seen? I've been enjoying the Australian ones anyway. Reverent, is that it? Reverent? Went out of the lines there. Surely it's time I packed up. I haven't turned it off yet because I keep more of you keep hopping on and watching. Maybe it's as relaxing for you to watch as it is for me to do. I don't know. Oh, I watched How to Make Gravy. I enjoyed that too. Based on the Paul Kelly song. It was a good one. I enjoyed it anyway. It wasn't, someone said it's no Boy Who Swallowed the Universe, and it's not, but it's still good. I enjoyed it. I cried. I think I cried about 5 times through the bloody movie. It was a bit of a tearjerker, or I thought it was. Maybe it was just because I'd had a rough day. Oops, this is a wonky one. I can hear my dog panting. It's getting hotter. She's certainly getting more uncomfortable. I haven't heard those whipbirds again since I mentioned them. They must have heard me. I don't know if you've noticed, but I've ended up with ink all over my fingers, as I often do. I think actually every time I open an ink bottle I end up with ink on me. So anyway, I might leave it at that, guys, because I've been going for hours and I need to pack up and get some dinner on and whatnot. But thank you so much for joining me. I've enjoyed having you with me through this. Again, I apologise if you've been typing and I've missed it. I've been focused on painting. I don't know, this is my cloth I was wiping the excess off before I put it in the water. Now sometimes I'll turn this around and cover this whole piece. It's just paper towel. And what you can do is peel the layers apart. There's usually layers. Maybe this one doesn't have layers. You can usually peel the layers apart. Doesn't look like this one has layers, but you can glue it onto paper and layer up. Even if you use what's it called? Bugger, I can't remember. The stuff like matte medium or whatever, you can paste it down and layer it up if you've covered it all with paint and ink, and layer it on paper and then cut it out and use it as a master sheet or something, or put layers on a master sheet to give it more colour. And there's plenty of things you can do with stuff. Anyway, as I said, I'm going to shove off. Thank you again for joining me. I hope you enjoyed watching that as much as I do painting, and have a good rest of your day. Be safe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks again for joining me.